Do you ever feel like you're destined with extremely bad misfortunes? Well, the people that come in my mind when I think of that is the Kennedy brothers. The media and the government say that their deaths were random assassinations, but could there have been a powerful underlying force for both of them? Today I will convince you that the Italian Mafia assassinated both Robert Kennedy and John Kennedy. We'll start with the lives of the Kennedys, the leading and Mafia men, and everything that drew everything together. The Kennedy family abused the Mafia power. It all started with their grandfather, Patrick Kennedy. He smuggled contraband booze during the Prohibition era for Mafia speakeasies and casinos. Patrick's son, Joe, promoted the mob, including Frank Sinatra, and gained help from the Mafia for his two sons' presidential careers. John became the President of the United States during the Cold War. His biggest event was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. He ordered a blockade around Cuba against Russian forces, which were teaming with Fidel Castro. This upset the Mafia greatly, and we'll talk about that more later. John died in a motorcade in Dallas. He was shot in the head by Lee Harvey Oswald, who was murdered shortly after. Robert Kennedy also had an avid political career. Elected by John, he was the Attorney General and was deeply devoted to the Racketeers Committee. Racketeers were people who specialized in organized crime. The Washington Post stated that he sought legislation and resources to wage an unprecedented legal war on racketeers. He was killed right after winning the California presidential primaries by a young Palestinian named Sirhan. This is Robert and this is John. Now it is crucial to understand exactly who John and Robert were up against. The American Mafia is all over the United States. It all started in Italy in 1922 when Mussolini was elected dictator. His goal was to disband organized crime in Italy. Small private families, or mafia, moved to the Americas, and by 1950s they gained billions of dollars in loan sharking, prostitution, drug trade, labor unions, construction, and garment companies. One of the leading mafia men was Jimmy Hoffa. Although he didn't start in the Italian mafia, he grew his power through top labor unions. He became so powerful that he controlled over 2 companies worth of labor unions. He was a major target for racketeering. Bobby Kennedy went straight for him. He imprisoned Hoffa for 13 years. Hoffa then turned to the Detroit Mafia to govern his labor unions while he was in prison. Next we have Carlos Marcello. He was in the Louisiana family system and personally raked in over $1.1 billion in illegal crime. The Anti-Racketeers Committee tried to deport him because he was born in Mexico and not in America. Carlos was released from a court-mandated suspension the same day that Robert Kennedy was assassinated. That sounds like those 2 things correlate. 2 other leading mafia men also says reports about the assassination. A Floridan mobster, Trafficante, was known for conspiring with Giancana. Giancana was a mafia family that Al Capone started. He was found dead after the government started investigating him after both of the assassinations. The National Museum of Organized Crime and Law Enforcement places Giancana at the center of the conspiracies to assassinate President John F. Kennedy. Giancana was coincidentally the closest to the Kennedy family. Finally, we can connect what we can reasonably infer about the 2 parties and their motives. The deaths were personally provoked by the brothers. They both turned against the Mafia when they became into political power. They vigorously targeted the Italian mafias in America while ignoring the Irish mob because Kennedy is Irish. The daughter of mobster Giancana said that the Kennedys bit the hand that fed them. This was from her book JFK plus Sam and the connection between Giancana and the Kennedy assassination. Marcello also revealed in his old age that he would recruit some nut to kill JFK. The dog, JFK, will only keep biting you if you cut off its tail, Bobby. This means that both of the brothers needed to be murdered for the Italian Mafia to continue to thrive. And that was from the book Mafia, the Kingfish. In summary, the Kennedys' rivalry against the Mafia can be summed up in sections. The lives of the Kennedys, the leading mobsters in it, and everything that drew them together. As you can reasonably conclude, you would not want any beef with the Italian Mafia, or you could end up with the same demise as the Kennedy brothers.